A year ago, I began a quest which, unbeknownst to me at the time, would slowly rot away my brain the longer it took. Some of you are aware of this quest, having watched the original video. Cutting right to the chase, I'm talking about my never-ending goal to collect every single card in the Scarlet and Violet base set. For those of you who didn't watch the original video, you're probably thinking a couple of things. The first one is, this is so silly. There can't possibly be that many cards in the set. The second is, oh no. Which is the thought you have right after looking at the scroll bar to see how long this video is. Now, like I said, a number of you already know what I'm talking about, so if you're interested in just skipping to the part where I get down to the details, skip to this point in the video. For everyone else, I'm gonna go over some basic info so that you can understand what I got myself into with this insane task. First of all, this was the first set released under the Scarlet and Violet name, which came out in March 2023, just 4 months after the release of the games themselves. It was the beginning of the addition of the silver border for the cards, finally replacing the yellow border after all these years. Now, there are 198 cards in the official set, based on this number down in the bottom left corner. 187 of those cards have reverse holo variants, while the 11 that don't are the EX Pokemon. That puts us up to 385 cards right away, which you would need 22 pages of 18-slot binder sheets to start with. This number right here is what's known as the complete set. Add to that 60 secret rare cards, including 20 ultra rares, 24 illustration rares, 10 secret illustration rares, and 6 hyper rare gold cards. Got all that math in your head? If you managed to pull every single card that you could find in a regular pack, you would need a 25-page binder to hold your 445 cards. This is called the Master Set, and it's more than twice that little 198 down in the corner. Now, if you wanted to, you could stop right there. It's a pretty intimidating task, and the odds of pulling all those cards from random loose packs is pretty damn low. Unfortunately, here is where the real problem comes in. Without my permission, my brain has somehow decided that that is not good enough for me. There are more cards. More variations. Some with alternate holos, alternate artworks, or stamps somewhere on the card. And none of them come from the regular packs. That's how they get you see. They don't want you to buy just loose packs. They want you to pick up all the other products too. There are decks and boxes and blisters and tins and more. And they all come with 1 or 2 little alternate versions of cards that already go in the set. I want to collect a perfect set. And I've already done the research to figure out just what that entails. First, obviously, I had to establish a rule. What counts as a card that goes into the set? Well, it has to have the same name and the same card text as one of the other 198 cards that goes into the set, and include either the SVI logo down in the corner or the promo symbol. That's easy, right? Great. Now let's get into why it's not so easy. We are about to go through a nearly unfathomable number of cards. I'm gonna do all the math for you as we go, and then I'll tell you the final number at the end. Here we go. First off, there are a bunch of non-holo versions of rare cards, which would typically come with holo borders by default. In total, there are 14 of these. Quaquaval, Dondozo, Palmot, and Revavroom all show up in build and battle boxes, but the rest come from some of the deck products, like the Koraidon, Annihilate, and Cyclizar, which all show up in the Lucario EX battle deck. Arboliva comes from the Kangaskhan EX battle deck, Indeedee from the Quaquaval EX battle deck, Skeledirge from the Victini EX battle deck, Miraidon from the Ampharos EX battle deck, and the Hawlucha from the Zapdos EX battle deck. The non-holo Professor's Research cards show up in pretty much all of them. Of course, there are a few cards that work the opposite way, getting special holo-bordered printings when normally they wouldn't get one at all. Sprigatito, Fuecoco, and Quaxley all get special holo printings from their own versions of the Paldea collection. You can also get a hollow bordered Grievered 105 from the Mimikyu EX box, but not the Mimikyu EX Showcase, because those are two different things. Here's a fun fact. While you do need the Holo Grievered, you actually don't need the Mimikyu EX, because it doesn't have a standard printing with the SVI symbol down in the corner. The same goes for Lucario EX and Ampharos EX. You could put them in a promo binder, I guess? There are also a few Pokemon that have alternate styles of Holos in boxes or tins, like Rotom 70 from the Cyclizar EX box, Lechonk 154 from the Oinkologne EX box, and Spiritomb from the Triple Whammy tins. These three are all Cosmos Holos. Then we have Cloth, which gets a Pixel Holo in the Costco exclusive Paldea Friends Mini Tin 5-pack. This is the only Pixel Holo in the entire set. Google, get me directions to Costco. Don't forget your lunchbox, because if you do, you won't get your Cosmos Holo printings of Meowscarada, Skeledirge, and Quaquaval, available only in the 2023 Fall Collector's Chest. Maybe I'll redo that later. Oh, and guess what? If you want some Scarlet and Violet cards, you can't just buy Scarlet and Violet products. You're going to need to find Paldea Evolved Check Lane blisters that include special line holo variants of some cards. Try not to be shocked when I mention Arboliva, Pawmot, and Dondozo again. Oh, and Armarouge is here too. Luckily, there's only 4 of these. Get ready for a special category, because back in September 2023, McDonald's did a special line of Pikachu-themed Happy Meals. I have one right here, though my cats destroyed one of Pikachu's ears. The box is not important though. What matters is the cards it came with. You got 4 cards per meal, 3 of which in the pack were straight reprints from Scarlet and Violet, but 1 of which was a special print with something called a Confetti Holo. These cards were all from the Scarlet and Violet base set, except for the Pikachu, which was from Paldea Evolved. Adding these in gives us another 14 cards in the set, though you might be a little miffed at me when I show you the difference between the regular cards and the McDonald's cards that aren't Confetti Holos. It's this little symbol right here that says M23, which is technically different than the original. Thank you. That's not it for Mickey D's though, as they did another Pokemon-themed Happy Meal in 2025, back in January. This set was called the McDonald's Collection 2024, because France. This time it was dragon-themed, which is why Jigglypuff and Hatenna are in there. Jokes aside, we'll be adding in the Miraidon and the Koraidon, which got Confetti Holos from this one. Come here for a sec. Those Koraidon and Miraidon cards were the last ones revealed as alternates for the base set. At the time of writing this, that was 3 months ago. Does this mean we're done getting new cards for this set? Jesus God, I sure frickin' hope so. I do not want to come back next year and do this one again. Cross your fingers for me, gang. Moving on, you're going to need the alternate full art Koraidon and Miraidon promo cards, which means 1 of each Elite Trainer box, specifically from the Pokemon Center, so you can get the ones with the stamps on them. Remember the Build and Battle boxes from earlier? Along with the non-holo rares, the 40 card decks that they contain feature alternate art cards of Pawmot, Dondozo, Hawlucha, and Revavroom. And while we're being nostalgic for 5 minutes ago, I hope you got all those Paldea Evolved blisters, because you're gonna need 3 of the promos that come with them. SVP 23 is Smoliv, 24 is Growlithe, and 26 is Varoom. These are actually just alternate arts of standard cards found in SVI. Tinkatink 25 doesn't go in the set though. That's one child you can leave behind. There were also 2 EX Pokemon that got promo printings. Predictably, Koraidon EX and Miraidon EX. You can get these 2 cards out of the Paldea Legends tins, and they are basically the same CG model, but like rotated 30 degrees. 1 more Pokemon got an alt art without becoming a full art card. Little Baby Sprigatito. If you want to pick this card up, you'll need to buy the Grand Adventure box, which puts a Pokemon Horizons The Series stamp onto the card. Coincidentally, that leads us into our next category. let's talk about stamps. The first come from the Trick or Trade Booster Bundle from September 2023. Although not the ones from 2024. These are cute little 3-card packs that you're meant to hand out at Halloween because candy rots kids' teeth. There are 30 total cards in this set, but only 6 of them actually go into the Scarlet and Violet base set. These cards add a Pikachu Jack-o'-lantern stamp to the bottom right corner of the card art. Next up, there are 5 store-specific stamp cards for this set. Interestingly, these are all Lechonk. Lechonk 154 with the GameStop stamp, Lechonk 154 with the Scarlet and Violet stamp, Lechonk 154 with the EB Games stamp, Lechonk 155 with the Pokemon Center stamp, and Lechonk 156 with the Scarlet and Violet stamp. This brings us to a very exclusive section. Have you ever been to a Pokemon Regional Championship? Well, if you have, you may have one of the 2 cards that falls under this category. Our good pal Arvin was given a limited printing of the reverse holo design with the Pokemon Regionals stamp on it, as well as one that featured the word staff in tiny gold letters that you could only get if you were working there at the time. Of course, going to an international championship would have netted you a different card with a similar stamp on it. Both North America and Europe got special printings of the Nest Ball card with the championship's logo on them, one with the word staff and one without, which adds in another 4 item cards. Now, on a much smaller scale, if you worked at a pre-release tournament, you could go home with some fancy versions of those build and battle promos I've mentioned so many times. They've got their own little staff stamp down in the corner, and you know they're going into the mix. Along the same lines as those staff stamped cards are a pair of specially printed Professor's Research cards. These came with a unique Professor's Program stamp. You had to go to a special training seminar back in 2023 to get these. Is that the end of the stamps? Dude, trust me when I tell you that I wish it was. But guess what happened back in 2024? Very shortly after I released the first version of this video, the Pokemon Company released the 2024 Pokemon Battle Academy box. And you had better believe it included more cards and ruined my original list. These decks were meant to be played by some 6-year-old who was learning how to play the game. But I'm 20 years past that, so I gutted them and put those cards into my binder. Each deck has its own copy of Jacques, Nemona, Nest Ball, Switch, Potion, and Youngster. The Pikachu deck added an electric generator, as well as a Rotom and a Wattrel. The Armarouge deck included Houndour, Houndoom, Torkoal, and Scaladirge, while the Darkrai deck only had Cyclizar to add to the mix. Yes, this box right here added in 26 new cards to my perfect set, distinguishable by their little Pikachu, Armarouge, or Darkrai stamps down in the corner. Now, don't worry, I know I've talked about a lot of cards, but we're getting close to the end. The last product that will put a stamp on your cards is the Play Pokemon Prize Packs, which you can only get when participating in a tournament at a local card game store. These packs hold 6 cards, all of which feature a stamp that looks like a Pokemon trainer holding a Pokeball. There's just one quick problem. Some of these cards feature the stamp, and some of these cards also feature a Cosmos Holo printing with the stamp on top. All in all, this creates a whopping 55 more cards. As much as I love to hear myself talk, I am not going to list these out loud. Instead, I will be putting you on hold while they scroll by. Okay, now, let's take a deep breath. Because that is all of them. Have you been doing the math in your head along the way? Don't worry, because I did it for you. The grand total, after adding in every single card with every single printing and every single stamp, is 607 cards. You would need a 34-page binder to fit all those cards. This is the perfect set. Updated for April 2025. If you watched my video from a year ago, you'll notice that this is a whopping 59 more cards than it used to be. The majority of that was actually the McDonald's and the Battle Academy cards, to be honest. Quick note too, and I'm sure you could tell, but I did have to re-record this several times. I will level with you though, I never expected the set to get anywhere near this big. I mean, that's more than 600 cards. Another thing you'll recall from the last video is that my binder a year ago was not big enough to hold even that smaller number of cards, which is why I went out and got this. This baby right here has 710 slots in it. I never thought I'd need this, but damn, was I wrong. We'll take a look at it another time though. For right now, let's move on. We got some interesting notes to go over. First off is type distribution, which I made these 2 pie graphs for. Here's a couple of interesting things right away. Obviously, there are more trainers than anything else. In total, of the 607 cards, 136 of them are trainers, and 2 of them are hyper rare gold energies. That leaves us with 469 cards that are actually just Pokemon. Despite having only 8 cards that need to be found in products other than booster packs, Grass type has the most Pokemon in it with a total of 71. Only 6 of these are secret rares. Psychic type follows closely behind with 69 cards. Nice. But 13 of them are not available in regular packs. 8 of these are secret rares, meaning you'll be collecting a solid percentage less of the psychic cards from regular packs than you would with grass. On the other end of the spectrum, there still aren't very many steel cards, but they have gained 1 member and moved their ranks up to 17. 6 of them are not from packs, and only 2 are secret rares. They still fit on 1 page though. Meanwhile, some of these cards are very clearly favorites for either the developers or the meta. Those babies got extra printings, with stamps and alt arts galore. You may remember this from the last video, but hang out for just a sec because these numbers have changed. Keep in mind, this isn't specifically variants of 1 card, but rather all of the cards with that same character's name on it. Make sense? Let's count them up. Originally, the runner-up category was for characters with 6 cards, but due to inflation, we are now bumping it up to 7. Cyclizar, Tarantula, Greavard, Dondozo, Quaquaval, Flittle, and the Switch item card all fall under this category. Not bad, right? 7 is an impressive number, and the fact that there are 7 categories of 7 sounds like a lucky number. Not for me, obviously, due to all the psychic damage, but probably for someone out there. 4th place is a tie between Arven and Little Baby Pawmot, with 8 variations each. Both cards get some cool holos and some neat little alternate arts. Pretty good for a position that doesn't even get a medal. In 3rd place sits our boy Jacques, who is the only character to get 9 individual cards. This one is kind of a surprise, to be honest, as I don't really see this card getting a lot of play, and I never see anybody posting about Jacques being their waifu. But good for him, I guess? The silver medal this time is going to be split 4 ways, as some old contenders have moved up some spots this year, and one has moved down. Since the last video, Koraidon and Miraidon both have 12 variants each. That is 6 EXs and 6 non-EXs for both Pokemon. This means that each Pokemon will take up a full page plus an extra row in your binder. Also increasing its count by a solid margin this year is Nest Ball. This is all because I missed those championship stamps the first time around. That's 12 different ways to get 1 basic out onto your bench. Alongside those dozens, our baby boy Lechonk has remained at 12 printings for this year's showing. 5 of those are the store-related promos I mentioned earlier, like the Best Buy one and the one you can only get from the EU. Remember last year when I complained about the EB Games stamp one being $50? Well, now it's $80. Never believe anybody when they tell you that Miriam was the most expensive card in this set. Okay. Time for first place. If you were here last year, you know who this is gonna be, and if you don't, prepare to pick your jaw up off the floor. Our top spot today, good old reliable Professor's Research. featuring both Turo and Sada. There are 7 variants for each professor, and since they are technically the same card, that means that they fall under the same category, and take up 14 spots total. They each get a non-holo, a standard holo, a reverse holo, 2 cards with the play stamps on them, one with the Cosmos holo and one without, one with the Professor's Program stamp, and a full art ultra rare card. That means a full page and a half for just the characters that abandoned Arvin. Can you believe it, folks? I never would have guessed. And that's it, people. The complete guide to collecting every single card in the Scarlet and Violet base set. At least, it is for right now. I'm sure in a year I'll walk into a Target and find a knockout collection with another card that I need to add into the set, and this'll start all over again. The cycle continues. All things as they are meant to be. All of this has led me to understand one thing. Again, I still won't ever complete this set. Now, the last time I did this video, I ended it with a breakdown of a bunch of cool details about the illustration rare and secret illustration rare cards. I would do that again, but those haven't really changed, so I don't need to. If you're interested in that gallery tour, go back and watch the original video. Thank you so much for watching this. If you check the description, you'll find a link to the Google Doc set list that I used to organize this, as well as a link to my Patreon, where you can check out the script for both this video and the original one. Those scripts both include plenty of extra notes and research on them. If you think I left anything out, please comment it below, so I can beat myself up for another year. Also, like and subscribe, please. Bye-bye!